Okay, good evening. Today is Monday, October 25th, 2021. I'm calling to order the Yuma County Redistricting Advisory Commission. Ms. Tucker, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Please stand and join me in a pledge of allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So I have some instructions for the public. If you are parked in the rear employee gated parking lot, please move your vehicle to the front, the north parking lot to avoid having your vehicle locked in. Please sign in on the sign-in sheet at the table by the rear door. Please fill out a speaker card at the table by the rear door if you wish to address the commission. Give the card to the staff. Please speak at the podium and state your name and address for the record before speaking. Please address the chair, not the audience or staff when speaking at the podium. If you have handouts, please, to give the commission, please give them to the staff to distribute. If you show information on an overhead projector, please give printouts to staff to become part of the permanent record. Restrooms and drinking fountains are down the hallway behind this meeting room. Feel free to use these facilities as needed. Please, no food or beverages other than water in the meeting room. May we please have a roll call?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Commissioner Zermelo?
Here.
Commissioner Nichols appears to be absent. Commissioner Quiros?
Present.
Commissioner Hernandez?
Here.
Commissioner Blitz?
Here.
Commissioner Duarte?
Here.
Commissioner Gill is absent. Commissioner Zendejas?
Here.
Commissioner Garcia?
Present.
Commissioner Meister?
Here.
Commissioner Tucker? Commissioner Walsma?
Here.
And Commissioner McLeod.
Here.
We do have a quorum present.
Thank you. This is a call to the public. The call to the public allows the individuals to address issues within the commissioner's authority and specifically identified on the agenda. The call to the public is open during the duration of the meeting. I do note for the record that there is no one present in the room as public members. This is also the time to adopt the minutes of the September 14 Commission meeting.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Any discussion regarding the minutes?
Second.
Thank you.
Ms. Meister.
Do we need to have a roll call for that, or can we just, does it matter?
I don't think so.
You wanted to call for a show of hands? I think that would work.
That'd be fine.
Can we do show of hands, acceptance of the minutes? Thank you. Item number 4 on the agenda is the Yuma County 2020 census data. We have a presentation. That was for last, sorry. I apologize, reading the wrong one. what am I looking at here? We are actually going to see the report on the public events.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tiffany Anderson, Election Director for Yuma County. I'm going to briefly go over the public education sessions that we had earlier this month, as well as the plans for our in-district public hearings for January. So we had 2 virtual education sessions. The first was on October 1st. We had 46 registrants and 25 attendees, so that was a really decent showing for a education event for redistricting. We did record that and put that on the county website. It lasted for about 30 minutes. And then on October 6th, we had 27 registered, but only 7 attendees at that one. For the second session, we had some technical difficulties, so we didn't post the recording because it was the same information and it was a little less easy to watch. So like I said, we do have that one public session available on the website for people who are asking questions and want to understand what redistricting means here in Yuma County, as well as a brief review of the mapping tools. So plans for our in-district public hearings for the week of January 10th to the 13th. There's a revised redistricting schedule in front of you today. As you can see, about 2/3 of the way down, you'll see those in-district public hearings. So the first one has been scheduled for District 5 at the Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Career Center on 13th Avenue. And that will be on Monday, January 10th from 9:30 in the morning to 11:30. That same day, we will be having District 2 at the AWC Conference Center from 5:30 to 7:30. On Tuesday, January 11th, it will be District 1 at the Regional Center for Border Health in Somerton from 5:30 to 7:30. On the 12th of January, we have 2 in District 3 per the request of this commission at our last meeting. So the first one will be at Gila Mountain United Methodist Church in the foothills from 2:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon. And the second will be held at the Wetland Library from 5:30 to 7 p.m. On, I believe that's Wednesday, January 12th. And then on Thursday, January 13th, it will be at the Cesar Chavez Cultural Center in San Luis from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. That way we have an in-district public hearing for those final map options that this commission will decide on either at next month's meeting or at December's meeting, of which ones I'll be taking forward for those public hearings to get feedback from each community. I did want to ask one question about the District 3 hearings. It was the recommendation of this commission to pursue having 2 in that district because it's such a large geographic area. Do you feel like having 2 is still necessary? The reason I ask is I received some feedback from our supervisor in that district feeling like the second one may not be well attended because it is a sparsely populated area. So I wanted to get your feedback. Yes, sir.
Ma'am, on our hearing that we're talking about, will there be enough room at the Methodist Church if we try to get Welton to come to that meeting?
Absolutely. Will there be enough room?
Yes, that's
Yes. The United Methodist Church, even with its social distancing of their chairs now, can accommodate up to 150 guests.
Madam Chair? Personally, I think that we should go to Welton, even if it is very sparsely, even if only a few people show up. Mm-hmm. It is a large geographical area, and I just think it's important that we demonstrate to the public that we value their input. So that's but it's not my district, so those of you who are from that district.
I do live in that district, and I would support us going even for a smaller group that evening. There are people in that area that could not drive in during the daytime, but hopefully will participate with an evening meeting.
Madam Chairman? I live in that district also, and I agree with that we should.
Okay. Thank you so much for your feedback. I wanted confirmation that that the schedule as presented today is acceptable, and I have booked all of these facilities. We're very fortunate that the majority of them are offering us at a public government discount or completely free. So we're only paying for 3 of the 6 facilities that we'll be using.
Madam Chair?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Blitz?
Yes, Mr. Blitz?
Are these hearings we're okay to attend ourselves or not?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. As we discussed at the last meeting, Chair Zermaina will probably be reaching out to see which of the commissioners will be attending each to ensure that we don't have a quorum at any one of them.
Madam Chair? Tiffany, I'm curious why in District 5, why we're meeting in the middle of the day instead of in the evening?
Because the consultants will be here Monday through Thursday, and in order to do that, we're going to have to double up on 2 of the districts. Not only that, I wanted to give a variety of times. So there are some people who are business people, and their job is to attend public meetings, that could very well attend the morning session, similar to when there's a Board of Supervisors meeting, and some others that could go to an evening. Also, these aren't exclusive to the communities that they're being held in. So if someone's unable to make the one near their home, they're absolutely welcome to join another one in the evening in a different area of town.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any more questions?
This is a no action item, so with that, we'll move on to item 5. And we have with us today Doug Johnson, the president of NDC. He's presented to you before. He is going to be briefly navigating through the mapping tool on the website. It's a little bit awkward, so forgive us. We're actually going to have Doug sit at the computer and look up at the screen there so he can navigate with the mouse. He'll pitch his voice so that our microphone picks it up. But microphone won't reach any further, but it's pretty sensitive. It'll pick up fairly easily. Whatever you're most comfortable with.
Dan behind it here. Let's see.
Okay.
Will that pick up?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, good evening.
Good evening.
So good to be back with you again. This is what's called Districtor. It's district with an R. So some people call it District R, some people call it Districtor. It is a link on the county's redistricting page, and also on the county's redistricting page you'll find a short video that walks through all the different features of this page. So I'll go through this very briefly. I'll give you a rough orientation of how to use it. It is very simple to use, and then I do encourage you and those watching or now or later to check out that video and see a little bit more in depth, or just plunge in yourselves to try it. There's a very brief introduction, and then the key thing is which button you pick. So if someone wants to draw just a community or just their neighborhood, and simply say, just keep my neighborhood together. I don't care which district it's in, just keep my neighborhood together. They would click on the Identify a Community Built Out of 2020 Blocks, red button. But if you want to draw a map of district elections, of district areas, you click on the Yuma County 5 Supervisorial Districts button. Either way, the tools are very, very similar, just some slight differences in what data is shown. So when you click on that, it comes to this map. There is no login. This is designed to be an extremely open system, so it doesn't ask for your name or your email or anything like that. It just gives you a session, and you can start drawing. You can see over here on the right, it does give you an ideal population number. And as I draw districts, it'll show those numbers. If I go to data layers, I can ask to show the current districts as an overlay, so you can see those lines and use them as a guide, or match them or not match them as you wish. You can also bring on the tribal reservations. It'll highlight those in the background. And then go in here. Sorry, the mouse is very sensitive on my tablet. You can see the different you can ask to see voting age population, and it will shade them in as I choose a group. So let's say Hispanic voting age population, and it will highlight lighter to darker as that group is a higher or lower percentage of the given census block. And then there's some other coalition builder features. They're always adding new features on as they work on this. It's an academic group at Tufts, so I'll leave that for those that want to explore into that. But there are additional demographics. As we've talked about before, there's tons of demographics involved. So if people want to see the percentage of households that have a child under 18, they want to see high school graduates, percentage of high school graduates, Spanish spoken at home. All these different demographics can be overlaid as reference points as you draw your map. Which brings us to drawing your map. So this is a really simple tool, as I mentioned. Up here at the top are your controls. There's the hand that moves the map around. You simply click and you can drag the map around. You can also use the plus and minus up here in the left. Oops. Zoom in, there we go. And then when you get in the area where you want to draw, it's very simple. You have a paintbrush tool, and you have the key thing in the paintbrush for people to be aware of is the brush size. So if I make it really small all the way to the left, it's only going to pick one census block at a time. So as I click, it's going to color one by one. But say you wanted to draw, District 5, you can make the paint, if you're not being that fine-tuned early on, you can pick a big area, and you can either click, I'm moving the mouse and then clicking, or just hold the mouse down and drag it just like a paintbrush. And of course, as you do with a paintbrush, you make a mistake. So the other tool, there's the hand, the paintbrush, and the eraser. If you make a mistake, the same thing, you get the eraser size. And so you simply come back over here, and it will erase what you did. So it's very easy to use, very forgiving. Now, remember I talked about it keeps track of the population. As I'm drawing, it's counting those people up. Let me go back to the pen, paintbrush. See those numbers change as I click and add population into the district. And so the goal is to get to the target population of 40,000, and it will also give you evaluation. It will give you numbers on the voting age population by race of the district as I've drawn. So far as I've drawn it, it's 35.9 Hispanic, 59.5 white, and 1.2% Black or African American. So you can get different data if you want to track those numbers as you're drawing your lines. Now when you finish your first district, or when you want to move on to your second district, each district is just a color. So you simply click the second color, come in here, and start drawing your next district. And again, I can use the roller ball as well to zoom in and out. And it gets a little hard to see when you have the different colors and the thematics on, so you can go back to the data layers and turn those off once you get a good sense of where the area is that you want to draw. And then it just pops right out at you. So eventually you get through this, and you have all your 5 districts. And you can really, this is, when districts start getting close to each other is when you really want to fine tune and move down to the 1 pixel, and then you just get 1 block at a time. So it allows you both to work quickly and then to really fine tune your maps. As I zoom in as well, you can see the neighborhoods start appearing, and then the street labels will start appearing. So you get those kinds of details. It's all built into the underlying map. When you're done, you click Save, and you have 2 options. Let's see. I won't do it because it'll actually save what I'm doing. But it asks you 2 things. One is, are you ready to publish? And then it asks you for either a plan name or your organization name. Or you can save it as a work in progress and come back to it. And all those maps appear on the home page. Oops. Let me go back. There we go. So here you can see maps that have already been submitted that are published as finished. And then if there were any works in progress, you can click down here. I don't know if there are. Oh, there are some. Yeah. So you can click on any of these as well. If there's a map that, number one, you can click on it and look at it. And actually, when you click on it, it's making a copy of it. So you can leap right in and start editing it if you wish, or just look at it and see how it works. You can see this one is very, very close to population balance, how they put all the numbers in there. And if I go over to evaluation, I can see the percentages by race for each of the districts. So really simple. Just use the paintbrush, change your colors as you go from district to district, and then use the eraser if you need to. And just watch your population numbers until you get close to that line. And you can see down here the maximum population deviation. It calculates it for you. As long as your maximum population deviation is 5% or lower, you're fine. There is some fine tuning if you really want to get careful with the math. You can go 6% over and nothing else is off by more than 4%. But it'll give you the largest number down there. And then it'll also, you can click on the highlighted unassigned units when you're near finish, and it'll highlight them so you can go through and anything you missed. It'll help fill it in. So again, there's the video to watch, but it really is as easy as move the map around, use the paintbrush, and erase if you make a mistake. And hopefully we'll get lots of maps. We're seeing really good interest already.
Any questions?
Chair?
Yes.
Quick question. I did go on. Why is this map not on there so I can make the changes on what you've already, because I can't go into this one.
Right. We just haven't had time to enter it yet, but we will enter that.
How long before that occurs?
I should have that done this week.
Okay.
So.
Mr. Blitz?
I found that to be a very, very, very sensitive instrument. Like, if you do just a little bit, pops up. And then when I save it, and then I come back to it, I found that it's been changed. So, does that mean somebody else has gone in there and maybe has changed something, or?
No, well, if you look closely when you log in, it'll give you a URL, a web address. And that web address is live for about 24 hours. So if you gave that to somebody else, then they, or if you saved it as a work in progress and shared that URL with somebody else, in that 24 hours, yes, they could come in and edit it. But then it locks. And even with the works in progress, if you reopen it, it'll give you a new URL.
But even if you send it as a finished product, can't somebody go in there and pick one of those finished products and do some editing themselves on it, or no?
Yes, it saves it as a new version, though. It looks like you're opening the original map, but you're not. It's
Okay.
You're actually opening a copy.
I just want to know, because sometimes I would do that, and I'd say, I don't remember doing that. So somebody obviously edited it for me.
Yeah, they probably took your original and then
Yeah.
made a copy, and it just looks a lot like your original.
Okay.
Madam Chairman,
Mr. Hernandez?
I'm listening to this, and so if I was to submit something the way I like it, and I submit it, what you're saying, somebody can come in there and change what I submitted?
No, they can't change your submission. They can make a copy of it and then make changes on their copy.
Their copy.
They would then be
not-
saved as a different name.
Not on my copy.
Correct.
Okay.
That was,
One note, the question we get a lot. So it is aimed to be super open and super easy and no login, which means we don't know who submits a map. So if someone does want to submit a statement or say this map is from so-and-so, they should enter their map, and then on that homepage, each map has an identifying number. They should send an email saying, I submitted map 62234, and here's why I think it's a good map. But otherwise, if they don't do that, we won't know who sent it.
When's
One
going to
of them
be
had a name on it.
the last opportunity for individuals to submit, where it'll be the cutoff date? After this date, no more maps will be accepted. What date is
Commissioner
that?
Kyrdos, we've set the deadline for Monday, November 15th at 5 p.m. That gives our mapping consultants a full week until the next Redistricting Advisory Commission meeting to take into account any of the public submissions for the next set of maps that you'll be discussing.
Mr. Blitz?
Could you go over the AWC districts? I was having a hard time trying to decipher exactly, there's something in there about 3 districts. I know there's 5 districts.
There's only 3 in Yuma County. So
Oh,
the other
3.
2 are in La Paz.
Ah, okay. And we're only doing the 3 in Yuma County.
Correct.
Okay. Now I can go in there and deal with it.
Are you
Mr.
able to
Quiroz.
answer questions regarding the districting for the AWC redistricting? Is that a state mandate that is us 3 and those 2? I know it was when it was split. When you look at the numbers, I don't know if we can get provided numbers of student population in those areas. They have 2 individuals that represent 5. I mean, that's very powerful for when they have such a small population of students that actually attend into Arizona Western College. So is there a future where we can say Yuma County should have 4 and we'll give them 1? Or is that a state mandate, or is that something we can change as a redistricting, or is that outside of Yuma County?
It's outside of scope of this commission.
Okay.
There may be a larger effort you could look into, but this commission's scope is just to redraw those 3.
Those 3.
Vice Chair Quiroz, I believe that was decided upon when La Paz County split from Yuma in the 1980s. So there was some sort of agreement that happened at that point.
Would that be a
of how to-
legislative?
I'm not sure. AWC might actually know better with what the agreement that governed the split in the 1980s.
Any further questions or comments? Thank you.
Hope y'all get on there and try it out.
Doug, you're next also.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Do you want to-
sorry, one more. For clarification, so when all those maps after November 15th, and are we going to sit maybe an executive session where we can see the map and just a little say, can we move a little bit here and move there to tweak it on final versions, or is that too late when we try to do something like that? Is that something that we can work on those maps on a later date?
Yes, so this is all designed to be public input to inform your process, but you still have your own process as well.
Thank you.
We had item 6, the Yuma County Community College District 2020 census data is next.
You have it in front of you, Doug.
Yes, there they. Oh, you bet.
The chart.
You get the chart. Okay. Can you zoom in a little
There's a
bit?
copy of that.
Oh, I bet. It's a dance.
If they can zoom that in.
So,
Excuse me
starting
one
off,
moment. Excuse me one, yeah, could you please zoom that in? Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh,
so as we just mentioned, there are only 3 districts for the college in Yuma County. And through an interesting quirk of numbers and shapes, we have 2 very different results of the census data. So for the college, you can see the numbers are very close to balance. And we're allowed up maximum of 10%. The closer to 0, the better. You can see on the far right, the 12.33%. That's the biggest district at 6.21%. I'm sorry, at 6.12% in District 4. And the smallest district, 6.21. The difference between them is 12.33. That has to be less than 10. So District 3, interestingly enough, is almost perfectly balanced. What that means is District 3, as it stands on the map, grew at essentially the exact same pace that the county as a whole grew in the census numbers. Meanwhile, District 5 grew, it just didn't grow as fast as the rest of the county. And District 4 grew faster than the rest of the county. So we're very close to balance. You can see we have District 3 is 40% Latino by total population. District 4 is 81%, and District 5 is 69%. You can see all the demographics. They're all available for anyone that wants to look into the details. But with that small a change, all we really need to do is move about 4,200 people from District 4 to District 5, and you'll be balanced. And so it, can you put up the map? Oh, or should I leave that for later?
do you want the existing map? or we're going to do that in the next
That's
item.
the next.
Be part of item
I'm
7.
mixing agenda items. So, sorry. Yes, so that's the small change. We're very close to balance. We have to get less than 10% difference. We're just outside of that, and the two districts are obviously next to each other. We already presented the supervisorial numbers. Okay, so you've already seen the supervisorial numbers. So if you have any questions about this, I'm happy to answer them, or we can jump right into the next item.
Next item, or we could go into the next item.
Okay, so now we'll bring up. This is the discussion of the kind of discussion maps. It just works out. One of the things that the elections folks always ask us to do is follow precincts. Because if we break a precinct, they have to reassign all the voters to different pieces, and it gets very complicated. It's almost never possible because the population requirement is so strict. But in this case, it turns out that the difference between 4 and 5 can be fixed by simply moving one precinct at the north part of Yuma there. So we simply move that one precinct from, it's currently in 4, we move it to 5, and that would balance all 3 districts.
Is that where the arrow is pointing?
Yes, exactly. You can see the kind of brownish red
nice.
line is the current districts, and then where the orange comes across that line into the area that the arrow is pointing at, that is one precinct.
Are we able to zoom in and see what the cross streets or what area that is? Is that like 8th Street and C and B?
And on my computer here.
So that area is purple right now, is that correct?
It's the orange. It's the orange area being
I
pointed
know,
at.
but it's in purple right
Oh,
now.
yes. Yes, exactly. So I can get the streets on here and tell you what they are.
That's interesting.
Give me 1 second here. Can't read my own screen standing up. Is the current border,
Pretty
the
static
kind of
map.
dashed red lines that you see there. The corner is 8th. It's actually 8th and South Avenue B. So West Avenue 8th and South Avenue B.
8th Street, right?
8th Street and Avenue B, yeah, so that would look like.
So from 8th Street to 1st Street.
No, it looks like Avenue C all the way down. That'll be Avenue C right there, right? Or no?
Correct. So the new line would be Avenue C, and then above that would be, looks like Figueroa. So it's Avenue C at the curve there of C and First. It comes down C, and above that it's going up Figueroa. So that's the only change necessary. You're welcome. If you want to look at bigger changes, you certainly can, but if you're comfortable with that change, you can.
And so that takes the population and equal distribution,
Almost perfectly.
AWC district.
Correct. You don't need an answer today. I don't think we're looking for action. This is more just a start people thinking about it, kind of briefing. AWC could be very simple. The supervisorial districts, in contrast, are it's interesting, both because there's 5, so they cover less area, and so the particular growth is going to impact them more. And just because of the way they're shaped, they are much more out of balance. You may recall there's where the college districts are 12.3% off, these are off by 23.5%. District 4 is by far the largest. It's over by about 6,200 people, while districts 3 and 5 are both short, significantly short by about 8%, and then 1 is short by about 4.5, and 2 is over by about 5.5. So a lot more shifting and change is needed in the county supervisor lines to bring them into balance. minimal change approach. Really, you can see the dashed purple lines of the current districts. Really, we're trying to keep as close to those as we can. And you can see some shifting where we bring 3 a little bit into 2 in the far east end of 2. Then we get some shifting around on the north side of 5. And obviously, Area 1, District 1, is coming all the way to the west edge of the county as it moves over. So it's picking up from 4. That's where we're absorbing that extra population from 4. So this
Madam
kind of,
Chair?
Yes, Mr. McLeod?
Thank you. I want to commend you on that map. That map almost matches perfectly the mental image I had when we were met last month. And we simply moved some population, right, without getting bogged down into all the little tiny nitty-gritty detail. That's ideal. I'm not sure, I'm sure other people have an opinion, but that's mine. That is exactly what I was talking about. Not playing games, just make some population adjustments and not worry about all the silly stuff. So I think you did a great job with that. I commend you. Very well done.
Is this time to make suggestions, or is that this is just you're showing us what it's going to look like, and then later we'll be able to discuss? Because I look at different communities also. I look at, the Gadsden School District area should fall under District 4. That's where those individuals live, as Somerton becomes their own school district, And I think what we just discussed right now, that Avenue B, Avenue C, that 8th Street should be also part of District 5 as we take away from the Gadsden area to go to District 4, because that's really their community down there, South County. So anyways, but those are little details that, is that for the future where we be discussing items like that, or is that open to today?
well, I have one more map to show you before we get into discussion about those maps, and then we can give some big picture feedback today. We're not looking to get into fine details today, I don't believe. That'll come as. I don't know how far you want to get.
Vice Chair Quiros, today, the floor is open for discussion of those types of communities of interest identification. At least they can be noted, because when NDC comes back at the November meeting, they're hoping to be offering us modified maps based on the conversation today, as well as any public maps that were submitted.
Thank you.
But before we leap into that, I do want to show. So this is a minimal change map, as we just talked about. Thought it's a little hard to see here on the screen, but 5 is moving north, just on the. Let me get the streets.
Doug, are you on the second map? I'm sorry.
I know I'm still on the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me get the bump up that's already on 5, where it goes higher, just goes all the way to the county line. So let me make the street bigger so I can read it. So right now, District 5 is going up 5th Street to 3rd Street across. And then above 3rd Street is in District 1. This balances District 5 by continuing up 5th Street. I guess it becomes Magnolia, all the way up to the county line. So it's just continuing that bump up farther north. And that gets 5. You can see the rest of it pretty much follows the existing district line. Yes, it does follow the existing district line, in fact. So that gets 5 to balance. Obviously, the big shift is District 1. I should flag 2. You can zoom out a little bit. As you know, the pink foot extending into the purple there, that is part of Somerton. So that's just keeping all of the city of Somerton together, is the reason for that shape. And then District 1 is picking up that whole western piece of District 4. If we can shift to the other map. So in this version, we're just kind of really get the discussion going and to prompt thoughts. This is a larger scale shift of the lines. One still moves over to the west and picks up that territory. 2 still gives up that piece over in the east end of 2, goes into 3. But you can see District 5 pulls significantly farther north. See where the orange is farther north than the purple dashed line. So it's pulling north and then widening out. So instead of just going north one section, it's going north all the way across street for you.
But for clarification, that's different than the map we have, correct?
It's the second map, the second Board of Supervisors map in your packet. It's called More Compact.
Yeah, so it's really focusing on making 5 more compact by taking it all the way from almost the freeway on the east side over to Avenue C on the west side. And then just starting at the county line and coming straight down with that, more or less to get to population balancing. So it's just another option to kind of give you some thoughts and get you going with your input and feedback. Happy to answer your
So
questions.
these were maps that you drew, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Can you zoom it or so that we could see the dividing streets or where the division is?
Which, if you can identify
two-
which district boundary, and I will zoom into that.
District 2 and 3.
Okay.
So it's largely following the same border as today. You can see where the dashes are, except the point where indicated with the mouse right now, the current border there, what street is that? It may not even be I think it's a small street, not coming up labeled on my map, but it would move that north to East County 8th Street. And then, so the area it's picking up is below 8th Street and west of Avenue 9 East. And
Madam
then,
Chair?
pardon me?
Yes, Mr. McCloud?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. When you post this online, it'll be easy to see where the boundaries were and where they are proposed, right? When we actually can go online and look at this.
Yes, I was actually hoping to have posted by today, but didn't get it done yet, so probably tomorrow. There's what we call an interactive review viewer that I'll set up and send the link over and it'll go on the website. It's essentially Google Maps, but on the right-hand side is a checkbox. So you just check which map you want to see, and you can enter an address and it'll zoom in on that address. It's really easy to use.
That'll be easy for us to see exactly where it was and where it's proposed to be. And Madam Chair, pretty much the same comment, and what I like about it is that people get used to who their representative is on the Board of Supervisors. And by making these fairly minimal changes, the least amount of persons will have their person that they're used to calling when there's an issue in their area, the least disruption. And they'll know more who is their representative. So I think there's a lot of advantage to that rather than trying to just, what's the term I'm looking for? Well, yeah, there's a term. It doesn't come to mind, but yeah.
I have a question.
Well, yeah, there's a term, but it's not coming to mind.
For example, where will we find what the population is that's moving over? Is that going to be published on the maps as well?
Here's Romano. If you look on the next page, it's the chart. All the demographic information is available for each of these maps in that chart. So it'll show you which populations moved to get closer to the ideal population target for each district.
By comparing the two tables, you get the before and the after. If you want to see the specific demographics of a piece that moved, you would go into the District R tool and zoom in on that area.
Madam Chair. Doug, if all of this information is contained on this chart will then show up over on the right side of the tool, is that correct? Once we go in and start looking at it?
Yes, in a very strange way. So it's actually easier. This chart is on the website and will be there, so it's easier if you just grab the PDF. The data is in there, but it has our database field identifiers, so it's hard to figure out which is which.
Well, there will be a PDF available to print
Oh, yes,
or to look at?
definitely.
And does that generate with each proposed map?
Yeah, so each PDF file will have 2 pages to it, just like your handout does, where the first page will be the map
Okay.
and the second page will be the numbers.
Ah, interesting. Thank you.
I have a question too.
Yes, Ms. Meister.
It says these red lines are municipalities, but what city is that right there?
So the city borders of Yuma, yes, is.
Yeah,
So that's in District 4?
what is this thing over
You're
there?
pointing to District 4, right?
Yeah. There's like, it's like a jigsaw puzzle.
It's up here in this area, in District 4 up here.
Commissioner Meister, that's the city of Yuma district boundaries for their jurisdiction, and it is very jagged as seen on the map here.
Also shows you the county islands, right?
Correct.
That's everything in red. The red lines are the municipal and or county boundaries, right?
Correct.
So you can see there's several county islands there in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because I was
yep.
trying to figure out what city
So
that
that's
was.
county.
Yeah, Yuma goes almost, now the incorporated boundaries of Yuma go almost all the way to Mexico.
We need that tax base.
What relevance is that the city of Yuma's boundaries? What relevance does it have to this redistricting process?
Well, typically, a city, especially smaller and medium-sized cities, will want to be kept together in one supervisorial district. You know, we talked about Somerton. They're trying to have that odd foot so that you were keeping the city of Somerton together, perhaps keep San Luis together. When the cities get to be giant geographic areas like Yuma is, we'll probably focus much more on keeping the populated core of Yuma together. It's pretty big, so it's still not going to all be in one district, as opposed to the whole geographic area, because it's impossible to keep that all together in one.
Yeah, it would primarily be districts 2 and 5 will be contained in the city, primarily.
Yes.
Right there where there's like a little foot for District 1, what area is that that's not colored in purple? Right there.
Right. So that is the Somerton.
I understand that, but you know how it goes out? Right there where the mouse is circling, what area is that?
Oh, that's the dump. The old dump, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, it's there at West County 16th.
Looks like the garden, the garden groves. Ahí los que, not on this side of the school.
The mesa up is in that area as well?
Yes.
¿Cuál map está primero?
This area right here.
One of the nice things when we have the interactive tool live for you is you can actually switch the base map underneath. It's defaults as streets, so it's easy to tell the streets, but you can switch it to a satellite view or anything else you want to do.
Is that County 14th? Would that be?
Yeah, I'm really sure that's where the old
15th or
dump
6th?
is.
It's
16?
It's 16th?
It's 16th on the south side and 15th on the north side.
That area where your mouse is at right there, that's
Yep.
County 16, County 15?
Yes, and between Avenue B and Avenue C.
Because those counties, the Somerton School District serves those counties. It wouldn't be served by District 4, so that's where we would go in and suggest those changes?
And that would go in counterpart, like what I said, like the Gadsden School District is more San Luis, which I like this map. I kind of like the compact, but I think that little section where Gadsden is left out, where that can be an easy switch. We give up that little area
Give
for
out
that little
the-
Gadsden, but I don't know, it's the numbers game, so it's, but I see what
Vice Chair Quiros, do you have we can look at the Gadsden Elementary School District boundaries. That's a layer that we did provide to the mapping consultants. But is there an area specifically on these maps that you're identifying, or is it just the square that
where Gadsden
Commissioner
is at.
Zendesa?
It crosses right,
Gadsden, the community Gadsden.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
All
currently
under
in,
one.
So you want
on
the
this map, it's in
Gadsden
one
Yeah, right now it's in 1, it should go in
It's on one,
4,
yeah.
and this
Oh,
little
in
section
4.
where it's in 4 should be
In one.
in 1.
Oh, so you just,
Just-
a good switch would be.
Keeping communities together, so Gadsden falls
Good
under more
switch.
South County.
That's a great observation. So what I'm hearing is that Gadsden aligns better in District 4 because it's more associated with San Luis than
That's
it is
correct.
with Somerton.
Gadsden School
Part of
District
that
falls
school
under
district.
San Luis, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That part of the Mesa Verde or whatever aligns with the
16,
cemetery.
15, right. And all the way up to Avenue E belongs to the Somerton School District as well.
Avenue E.
All the way
or-
up to all the way to San Luis. From Avenue E
Oh, we're gonna make this pink.
east belongs to the Somerton School District as well.
Madam Chair,
Isn't this Gadsden over here?
Mr. McLeod?
Swap it.
Is this Gadsden over there?
Commissioner Quiros,
Swap Gadsden with
Where's
La Mesa.
Gadsden? Gadsden's right
are
here?
you trying, is it the school district boundaries or the
Well, just the Gadsden
community of
Yeah,
Gadsden?
Gadsden community
Right
falls
here,
under,
this color.
You're trying to pull that
4,
community
yeah.
into 4. And then how many
Move
persons do
Gadsden?
you think that is?
not,
Move
I
that
don't know the
blue,
numbers,
right?
I don't think it's a large community.
This.
That's
this
not
pink.
real, we're not talking a lot of
Yeah,
numbers,
no.
right? Should be pretty easy to figure that out.
No, allá abajo.
Go La Mesa
Sí.
and move Gadsden to belong to.
Did you have any comments?
No, I was just explaining to him how it would make sense that Gadsden just do that swap in order for one to be held as a community type.
Well, the swap would have to be, pretty close in the population numbers.
Right.
So how heavily populated, we need to know this little corner of District 4 versus the Gadsden.
Gadsden.
Yeah, I think, I know the area in the Somerton Hook, where the mouse is now is, it just has it has one street with about 3 cul-de-sacs off of it. And Gadsden itself, part of it, I mean, probably the reason you're bringing it up, part of it is already in 4. The County 19th Street is the border of 4 and 1 down there.
Yes.
So let me see. We can certainly check it out in more detail. I'm just trying to get a rough number here.
I'm just trying to figure out where,
For Gadsden.
without getting, too crazy, you can bring in, without splitting up those other communities where you can bring that many people in. But, yeah, once this map goes live, then it'd be pretty easy to start manipulating, correct?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And actually, you can go into the District R tool already. So there's about 600 people. Just roughly defining Gadsden as up to 18th Street, which is the little collection of streets that you see on the map. That's about 600 people. And again, I'm just ballparking these numbers quickly, but it's not going to have.
Well, if you pull, yeah, that might not even, pulling 600 people in probably wouldn't put you outside of your percentages anyway, would it?
Right, it's going to be about, well, there's roughly speaking 40,000 people per district, so it's about 1.5%.
Yeah.
Probably around there.
I don't even know that you'd have to mess with anything else, right?
Right.
By mess with anything else, I mean trying to draw other people into District 1 because you moved 600 people into 4. You may not need to make any other map adjustments.
I'm just going to look at that Somerton area we were just talking about. Just get to the same number over there. Until I spend way too much time on the software. So the little Somerton Hook
Yeah.
is 608 people.
So if you could just draw that straight
Just do a
across,
Straight trade, yeah. It's going to be a change of about 12 people.
Yeah, fantastic.
that's perfect.
So sometimes you get lucky with the numbers. And, so.
We can just call that the Quiros corner.
So yes, and this is exactly, to the if you have ideas you want us to look at, you can throw them out now. Few of them are that quick that I can get numbers that quickly on them, but we can certainly look at them after this meeting and take that into account. You can also, take some time, get on the District R tool, get on the maps when we get these the interactive map launched, and share those thoughts. I presume you want communications coming through you, so if they have thoughts between now and the next meeting, reach out to share those thoughts to Tiffany, just so we get them recorded. And of course, we're hoping to get a bunch of ideas and some comments. One of the reasons for drafting these maps up, even before we get direction from you, is we find the public reacts to a map. So if we just kind of talk about redistricting in general, well, ho-hum, it's weird. But if they say, here's a map, then they say, oh, this goes through my neighborhood, I'm going to go out and speak. So hopefully it'll fire up some of that conversation.
Maybe, but I thought you did a good job. It's funny that works out so well too, so.
Yeah.
Will you make another map with those suggested changes that we just covered?
Yes, that's easy enough. We'll certainly, so there'll be a third 0 map. We'll have that.
And how will we know quickly which are your maps if we go onto the tool?
So we'll label them as NDC,
Okay,
compact change, NDC
Perfect.
minimal change map.
great.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Commissioner,
Before you go on, though, let me finish on the naming thing. Be careful, though, because nothing stops someone else from also naming their maps NDC something. So if you
Don't say that out loud.
You'll see it on the county website, and then you'll know. But people get tricky. Sorry.
Mr. Quiroz?
yeah, Commissioner, just real quick, just because you're City Council in Somerton, where is La Mesa and Verde on there on the map?
County 17.
Is that the square we're talking about, or is that a different square?
I think that's the square that we're talking about.
Oh, okay. I was just
That's
wondering
where
where
they
that, because I drive by there all the time, and I know it's Mesa Verde, or what is what is it?
Sections.
Oh, okay. Because I live on County 16, so I drive by that, but I don't know the street right there. I can't tell if that's the section we're talking about. Okay.
But that's where the 600 people are, right?
Yeah. The folks, the 608 that I counted are on the north side of County 16, just immediately west of Avenue B&A,
Great,
B12.
great change.
Can't read my own screen.
All right.
I know. Well, it'd be nice to see like a Google Earth map.
That's exactly
It
what.
really would be nice.
That's exactly the map that we'll have up.
Then you
later
can
this week.
see, oh,
Yeah.
where it is. May I ask you to go up on the map, right at the edge of Yuma, and you have where, under the words Yuma, and that area that's
Wiggly.
kind of squiggly down, let's see. I'm just wanting to see the border right there where you go over to the left, in that area. So what's the border there, or,
It's 24th Street,
okay?
and then the vertical border between 1 and 2 is the river down there.
And then, what about lower, so, right there, that's 24th Street?
The horizontal border, yes.
Yes.
Yes. 24th Street, and then it goes over the western border of 5 is Avenue C.
And
It's
then
pretty
where
much
does where does it end? At the bottom, at the south?
For District 5?
Yes.
Oh, it's C coming down to 24th.
So that's the proposed change.
That's the major difference of the minimum change one and more compact is we talked about the B and C 8th Street, the one I thought should be, and then they just swapped out those numbers and they left out that 24th and Avenue C section below that Yuma section.
Correct. The minimal change map keeps 5 all the way down to that dashed line there at County 11, at 32nd Street. It is
Okay, so that ends at 32nd Street?
the current district and the minimal change map. Yes.
Chair Zermano, the purple dashed line is our existing district boundary. And then the colors are the new proposed districts.
The red.
Orange and
No, the red is
I
the city of Yuma, so the orange and the purple and the blue are the new proposed supervisorial district boundaries.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments?
good maps.
They are very good maps. Thank you.
Not the usual reaction we get, so I appreciate that.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Thank you. So the next item we have is item number 7, a
That-
presentation.
That was
Oh,
item
we just
7,
did.
Sorry.
so
Okay.
now close call to the public.
I apologize. As I was looking at the page, item 7. So this is the final call to the public. And not hearing from the public, I'm closing the call to the public. I have a question. Do I need to have a vote to adjourn the meeting, or can I just adjourn it?
We did modify that based on the feedback from Commissioner McLeod last meeting, so you can adjourn the meeting as chair.
This meeting is now adjourned.